Welcome to the Brett Beard Show, sponsored by James Restaurant. I'm your host, Beau David, and with me always is Coach. Coach, how are we doing today?
I'm great, Beau. How about yourself?
Good. Last week we went into Hammond, went to their field, and we won, got the dub. And what would you say you and your coaches around you prepared your players for that terrain?
Yeah, we did. I think our kids are a little spoiled. I mean, we got probably the best facilities in the state, and we get the field house built. I think we will have the best facilities in the state. But you have to be able to go on the road. You have to be able to play on grass. I mean, it's funny that these guys really hadn't played a whole lot on grass. So being that we have a grass field, we got over there in practice and hit some periods over there just to kind of get our footing. But it's hard to mimic, going on a thicker grass, because it was a thick grass, on the road with the real live bullets finally flying. I think it did kind of eat some of our guys a couple of times. But once we settled in, once we got going and kind of got a little life, you saw a side of us that we could potentially be. We just got to figure out how to do it for 48 minutes.
Yeah. All right, with that, we're going to get into the live action highlights. All right, you got your 2025 Yellow Jackets taking the field, all hyped up, ready for this game. Got the gray pants, white jersey, purple helmet, looking good, looking clean. Number 1, Deshaun Goldman. He fakes the handoff, rolls out the pocket, throws it deep, looking for a receiver. Ball's still in the air. Tipped and picked off by number 8 for Hammond. And he's later pushed out of bounds after a minimal gain. Coach, what would you say for this young quarterback learning how to just make reads and think on the fly? How big would this be?
Yeah, he started off Zachary that way, and he really didn't bat an eye. So at this point, we come out, we return opening kickoff down to the 1 that gets called back. We come out, we get the ball, we throw a pick, hits off his brother. He didn't bat an eye. I mean, the thing is, he's so calm and cool. He makes us all calm and cool. And still early, a lot of football to play, and the way he's overcome this already tells me a lot of where he's at. So excited for him.
All right, Hammond back with the ball. They throw a quick screen pass to number 12. He makes one defender miss, and he's still going. He gets a first down a little bit more. Now they're knocking on the red zone. Hammond up to kick. Bad snap on the ground low, causing a turnover on downs. Denham ball now. Deshaun going back to pass again. He's dancing around the pocket, forced out the pocket again. Throws it deep back to the end zone, and it is almost picked off by number 26 for Hammond. Hammond with the ball. Quarterback dancing around. He's deciding to tuck it. He's running with it. He's later pushed out of bounds by number 8. Hammond back with the ball. Handoff to the running back, number 24, right up the middle, barely touched. Coach, this play, he was untouched. What do you think went wrong for the defense?
Yeah, we've been on the field a lot at this point. We're kind of reeling. We're tired a little bit. Again, we're having to get used to the live bullets flying, playing on the thick grass. All the conditions that, are not excuses. We've got to figure out how to play on them, and again, we've played a lot of football snaps already. And, their O-line is physical, so it gave us fits, and they were able to finish the drive. And we've given them life at this point.
Yeah. And now that makes your score 7-0 Hammond after the extra point. Quarterback number 7 drops back for Hammond. He decides to tuck it and run. He makes one defender miss, and he's still going. And he broke another tackle and was later brought down by number 8, Angel. Hammond's QB takes a snap. It's a high snap, forcing him to go back. He misses diving on the ball, and number 98, Jason Dixon's able to scoop it up and pick it up for the Yellow Jackets. He's later brought down, but that is Yellow Jacket ball after the turnover. Following the turnover, Deshaun Goldman fakes the handoff, rolls out, finds number 89, Orrin Russell, for the end zone. Coach, this is a young varsity player scoring his first ever touchdown and scoring the big first touchdown of the game. How important is this for a young kid?
Yeah, I do love seeing these young kids get the opportunity and capitalize. I mean, those plays there, they let everybody else in the state know that they have to cover these guys. You thinking you're going to come in and take away 44, you're going to come in and take away those guys, and at the end of the day, we've got some weapons no matter we go, all spread or we go big. And, right here is just a young tight end who had the opportunity to catch the football. I'm just glad he knew what to do with it once he caught it. But, big time first touchdown for this kid. It was really exciting to see him make that play. And, got great people, mom tees at the school, dad coaches there, just great people. It was good to see them, have this opportunity. So really proud of Warren and paid his dues to get that opportunity.
Yeah. You see, he really gets whole team fired up, even the coaches. JB's kick is no good after, making it 7-6 Hammond. DeJon Goldman takes a snap, he's dancing around the pocket, and he's forced to roll out left, causing him to throw it to find a receiver, finds number 2, Matthew Duvall, in the middle of the field. He gets the first down and a little bit more. You know, that really fires up the team. That was a big third down. Quarterback DeJon Goldman back to pass. He has a lot of pressure in his face, decides to tuck it and run. He follows his blockers of his line, makes one defender miss, and he has all the room in the world to keep running, all the open grass, and he's untouched into the end zone, making it 7-13 Denham. You know, Coach, he made a mistake earlier in the game, and it looks like he bounced back mentally, just didn't let it phase him, and he got a big-time touchdown and put you on the lead.
Yeah, I mean, this kid doesn't get rattled. That's what I love about him. He's got ice in his veins, and it's almost calming for me as well to have this kid be able to execute the way he does, to make mistakes and bounce back. And you see the big play threat that he is, the ability that he has. He can be a running back, he can be a quarterback. And when you have that dual threat guy like him that doesn't get rattled, that loves the game, you got a scary weapon back there. So we're really excited to see what kind of year he ends up having and what he does full-time as a starter for us.
Yeah. And that's your score going into half is 7-13 Yellow Jackets. Hammond starts with the ball, quarterback back to pass, does a quick out to his receiver, and is quickly taken out of bounds for a short gain. It really fires with the defense up, getting there fast. DeJon Goldman back with the ball. He hands it off to Hayden Ray. Hayden Ray runs through one defender, runs through another, and then tramples over another defender. The defender falls into the end zone for a Yellow Jacket touchdown, making it 7-20. You know, we talked about last show with Hayden Ray and how he's really a big part of y'all's offense, but how has he fallen into the brand of Jacket football, just kind of doing everything?
Yeah, he's bought completely in. I mean, the kid's a special player. He's kind of a unicorn. He can do it all. I mean, you see this a big old body. He can, you know, tight end, fullback, H-back, running back, receiver. He can go in, he can go out, he can go behind the line, but really just a special kid, just a special player. I mean, but an awesome dude that's bought into everything that we're selling and has embodied it, and you can see that in the way he plays. He plays hard, he plays nasty, and you know, he gives us his all every day, which is all you can ask for when a guy comes into the locker room.
Number 7 hands the ball to number 24, and he's met in the backfield by the D-line and the linebackers. He's laying on the ground, and we see the team jumping around with some energy. And it looks like number 19, Jackson Sagan, has forced a fumble, and he has recovered it, causing it to be a Yellow Jacket ball. That is a fumble recovery. That really, you know, hyped up the sidelines and get everyone going. Number 1, DeJon Goldman back to pass again. He throws it to number 6, and he just outruns every defender, and he's untouched into the end zone. That's another junior receiver scoring. How big have these juniors been? Yeah,
you know, Trey gives us what we haven't really had here a whole lot. You know, that guy that can take it off the top. You know, he can run by people, he can fly, and to get him out in space, you see what he can do. You know, he's got one block, and Goldman does a phenomenal job there. And he's going to blow by him. I mean, you're going to see this kid make a lot of special plays this year and some really big plays just because he can get up and go. And he's got great hands and really become a solid receiver.
After that touchdown, it makes the score 7-27. Hammond's quarterback drops back to pass and is picked off by number 8, Angel Mora, and he takes it back for a small gain. You know, we've talked about Angel before as a new player into the program. How big was it in this game for the momentum to shift and gain the ball back?
Yeah, you know, Angel fell into our lap from Oakdale and really has been another huge piece that's just been an unbelievable addition to our locker room. It's balled into everything we're doing, and because of it, he's having fun, he's flying around and making plays, and he's giving us a life. And, you know, we just got to continue to feed off of both sides of the ball right here, scoring touchdowns, getting turnovers, and it's made us better.
Hammond's quarterback he takes a handoff, he's in the pocket, and he's brought down by number 27, Trenton McGuire. On the same drive, Hammond's quarterback has the ball. He drops back to pass. He is forced out the pocket, throws a deep ball, but is picked off by number 12, Jaden Washington. Once again, and he's still returning it, following his blockers, gets a really good return, and they're just fighting for the yards. You know, that's another, like I said, another junior stepping up in a big moment to get the ball back and shift that momentum.
Yeah, Jaden has a chance to arguably be one of the best, if not the best corner in the state of Louisiana. I mean, the kid is a tactician that has it understood. He has the game understood, loves the game, and really he's going to put himself in position to make a lot of these plays, and you're going to see a lot of this from him if people throw at him. You know, as the year goes on, I think a lot of people will figure out that he's a dude and not go at him so much. But really, he has a chance to be one of the top corners, if not the best corner in the state when this is all said and done. And you're glad he's on our team. He's been a lot of fun to be around. He's a football player. He's a dude.
Yeah. Really fires up the team there. Number 4, Tanner Kerner takes a snap, but he hands it off to Deshaun Goldman. He's forced out the pocket. He throws it deep to find number 3, Deshaun Goldman, his twin brother, in the end zone to make it 7-34 Denham. How big has this twin brother connection been for just the offense?
Well, they are twins, so they're going to be synced up a little differently and be able to make some plays together that's going to make us look good as coaches. You hate to say they ad-lib because they really don't, but when things do break down, when things have to be done and plays have to be made, you kind of see 1 and 3 are connected and kind of on the same page, which is another crazy deal that we're going to get to experience a lot of fun and a lot of success because of it. And, right here you saw a little breakdown, and they were on the same page and got the job done.
Yeah. We're getting the team hug up there. Dylan Johnson at quarterback, he hands it off to number 26, Enzo Landry, for a good gain of yards. They're now in the red zone, and that was beautiful blocking and beautiful execution there. Number 16, Dylan Johnson, drops back, throws an interception there. It's going to be a pick 6 after its return, and that pretty much seals it, making it your final score. He's untouched. Nobody really could catch him after that. It was almost a guaranteed pick 6 because of the ball positioning there. And as they come off, clock's running out, and Yellow Jackets win with the final score being 34-15. Stats for Deshaun Goldman was 10 for 17 for passing, 152 passing yards, 57 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Deshaun Goldman, 3 receptions, 54 yards, and 1 touchdown. Hayden Ray, 1 reception, 3 carries, 31 yards, and 1 touchdown. So we saw a lot of scores from a lot of young players, and ultimately they had 2 out of the 4 touchdowns. And how big do you think the young players are going to affect the Central game coming up?
Well, you got 43 seniors. So to go on the road with 43 seniors in a lot of key spots and with some young dudes that are having to step up and give 43 seniors a chance to play this game and play this game there, for one last final season, hopefully guys get a chance to go play further. But, you hope these juniors and sophomores don't put a little pressure on themselves to give to these 43 seniors. I mean, you saw us go on the road last week against a Hammond team that's actually a really good team. I thought offensively their quarterback, the running back, the slot receiver, Old Donut, was a stud. I mean, they had some players that can play, and to go in their environment on that grass was something we hadn't really seen. So for our guys, led by a very senior-heavy group, to step up for them and with them, you got to see that, and you got to see us get down, you got to see us weather a storm, you got to see us start slow. And, Arguably played a pretty bad half of football at first half, only to bounce back and play a really good third quarter. So, again, everybody's got to accept and own their piece of this puzzle. And as we gear up and figure out where those pieces fit and fall, early in the year as coaches, we've got to figure out where those pieces fit. What better way to do it in Hammond, in their stadium and in that environment, and then to flip around and play a big-time opponent like Central week 2.
Coach, went 1-0 last week, and now it's time for this week. Big time game. How are you preparing mentally for yourself and preparing your coaches and your team?
Well, I think our mindset's 1-0 every week. I mean, we go in every week playing the biggest game of the year because it's the next one. The next game is the most important game. And as you get comfortable playing in the most important game of the year, it's only going to get bigger and better as we get in the playoffs, where we've been in this situation 10 and 12 times when we make a run that we're already comfortable playing in the biggest game of the year. It's also a big game because it's, it is Central. It's a rivalry game. I'd be naive not to address the fact that this old rivalry is, it goes way back and it's got a lot of chaos to it, and there's a big-time rivalry, an old rivalry, and, 2 respectable programs, and one program made the leap last year. I mean, They freaking won a state championship. You can't tell me that's not big time. So to have the defending state champion, the old rival from across the river, come into our place week 2, both 1-0, as we're still trying to figure out who we are, they're still trying to figure out who they are. I think you're going to see a nasty brand of football played on both sides, which is going to make it a lot of fun too. But at the end of the day, I mean, look, we prepare as if it is the biggest game of the year every week, and to go 1-0, you have to have that mindset. And our coaches are doing a phenomenal job. Our guys are doing a phenomenal job. They've embraced that this is going to be a physical war and that it is the biggest game of the year because it's the next one. And, we just got to go out and execute and, not dig a hole early and start fast.
Yeah, and like you said, with them being the state champs coming into our house, and what is something you feel has to be executed perfectly?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing with Central, if you know their history, they're going to play nasty, man. I love the way they've played. I've had some wars. I mean, they've beat the piss out of me a few times. I've gotten them a few times. I mean, but it's just they play a nasty brand of football that I respect. And sometimes you got to be able to match that, and then sometimes you got to elevate it and see if they can match what you have to bring. And I think for us to do that, to compete with the defending state champion with that, that target's on their back. We're going to have to start fast and execute. We're going to have to settle in a lot quicker than we did last week. We're notorious for being slow starters. We've got to come out the gates. We've got to set a tone. You can't shy away from. They're going to play their little mental games. They're going to do all what Central does. And you just can't buy into all that. Just buy into the fact that you've done everything that week to prepare to go 1-0. And it's just another high school kid in a different color uniform, and we got to go do our job.
Yeah. And one more thing about that is, how big do you think it'll be, or how are you balancing out the emotions and the discipline between young players and players all around?
Yeah, for this week especially, you work so hard during the summer. Those mornings are long and grueling. June is a tough month, but you do all that to have these opportunities. I think Friday night you're going to see an atmosphere that's going to be a playoff atmosphere, a late round playoff atmosphere. I think there's going to be a ton of people there. It could be one of the biggest games in the history of Denham, the host on campus. It's really everything you want. And to be this early, we can get a lot of things done. We can learn a lot about ourselves, good or bad, ugly, win, loss. There is a lot to be taken from a week 2 game that's going to boast, kind of bolster us to be a lot better down the road. And we got to embrace that. Ideally, you want to embrace it by doing the job and winning the football game. And that's our goal. But it's still early. There's a lot for us to figure out. And what better way to figure out who you got in the trenches than in an intense situation like what we're going to have Friday? The young guys, the new guys. I mean, this is going to be something that they haven't seen before. So really excited. I love the mindset, the mental part of the game. I want to see these guys compete at this level that we're asking them to compete at in this realm. And, Central's dealing with some newbies, too. I mean, not all those kids won the state title last year or played, but they've seen it. So, you'd have to give them a little advantage right there. But, again, anytime a state champion comes into your house early in the year, the huge rivalry, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's why we've worked all summer. We haven't talked about it because I don't put any more importance on one game than the other. Hammond was the most important team on our schedule last week. Central now drew week 2.
Thanks for watching episode 2 of the Brett Beard Show, brought to you by James Restaurant. I'm Beau David. Thank you, Coach Beard, for being here.
Hey, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Great job.
Yeah, come out 7 o'clock kickoff at Friday night at Denham Springs Yellow Jacket Stadium for the 77th meeting of the Central Wildcats and the Denham Springs Yellow Jackets. Be there.